point, I call that history. Fuck around and grill a pig like some rotisserie. Give a fuck about who you think you with, don't trust the industry. Why you wanna be my enemy? You should really let me be, cause really you can't fuck with me. Nah, you can't fuck with me, little bitch, and yes, I took my heat. Yes, I love to redo, that made me LAME or WISC. My third eye open, I can see, must protect my inner peace. No response, I can't give you my energy. I don't follow trends, cause bitch, I'ma just...
Hi, how is everyone doing today? This is Uno Neo back with another video. We're going to jump straight into it as we always do. I hope that everyone is having a good and blessed day today. If not, it's okay. It's not too late to kind of rewrite your story here. This, as I know you can tell from the title, is going to be about the movie They Clone Tyrone. I normally don't do this as far as break movies down. It is something that I am interested in. I normally do it to myself, and I don't really most of the time have the energy to kind of like tap into certain things, but this is one that I definitely felt called to tap into. So here we are. I'm just gonna put my input on what I feel like was going on, and also it was like a couple of notes that I had took, and we can just go off that. One of the first things that I happened to notice when watching in the beginning of the movie was that I had noticed the TV commercial and how it said the fried chicken on there. Oh, well, it was like them showing like a food fried chicken place or whatever the case is, and I instantly said to myself, that was programming like us to want to basically like crave that certain food, which I know that some of us know this, but some of us don't. To watching certain commercials is like the whole point of a TV commercial is to program a certain idea or a certain thing within your mind. That's why your children come running to you, mama, I want this, after they've seen it on TV, you know. They were throwing that in our face of just how significant that is, and people are not understanding the significance of just watching a commercial, especially if you don't have that active, it's like that active installed within you, or installed within your mental state of you knowing that this is a programming. So it's like it's a difference when you're consciously aware of it and when you're not. Because when you're consciously not aware of it, is when the energy is able to like get to you. Like when you're not consciously aware of it, it's able to kind of like get to you. I noticed as well how Tyrone basically died in the beginning, and you know, I instantly knew then that when he was brought back, he was already cloned by that point. I instantly knew by then he was already cloned at that point. It's like, the way that I took that was whoever was the original clone, or whoever was the original, I guess subject, I guess I can say. It's like the way that these clones work through my observation. Something, let me get this out. The way these clones work through my observation is that I feel like they have like a living conscious still within them. So it's like, in a way, I feel like subliminally, they were trying to make us become comfortable with clones. Like, people failed to realize the MK Ultra that was happening as you were watching that movie as well. It's like, yeah, they're putting it in there, they're putting it in your faces, and they're telling you everything. And in the process of that, they're MK Ultraing you through the same movie that they're telling you about, like, you know, putting everything in or whatever. So they're very slick when it comes to that. Me personally, a lot of times when it comes to certain parts, especially when it comes to like the flickering of the lights, or when I feel something that's kind of off or wrong, I tend to like turn my head, or I just zone out, because I don't subject myself to that type of stuff, especially with me knowing exactly what it is. Amy asking him on a movie, he was like, asked him, I believe, like he must have sold himself to the devil or something like that. I took that as literal as well. Nothing that they put in these movies or, you know, just for the fun, or no lines that they put in there, it's just for the fun of it. And it's funny how in the ending, he ended up working with the people. So in a way, you did give yourself over, you know, for your own purposes. A lot of these times, these scientists tap into this unknown energy source, and basically become mad scientists because they can't handle the information, or they misuse the information and abuse the information. And I also feel like a lot of times these people are getting a lot of their information from the Black communities, from our Black men, from our Black scientists, taking their original works and then turning around and using it over their heads or against them, make them get in these certain type of contracts and stuff like that, to then serve a purpose. And some of our lost brothers and sisters have became a part of that type of community, as far as, type of things that they're doing to us. And I wanted to speak on this world, the way that they had certain stations set up in a hood to look like a trap house, to look like a regular church, to look like something that you would pass by every single day and wouldn't take heed or notice to. And it will make sense of them having stations within our neighborhood, because when you think about it, it's all underground, so they have to get up through some way. So I'm pretty sure there are plenty of secret hidden places where they can come out of. It even gets as deep where some of these places are hit by portals and stuff. So I know it gets just as deep depending on how far down the rabbit hole you choose to go. And it's like, it should make you look at your surroundings differently. It should make you be more aware of your surroundings, aware of your children's surroundings, aware of like the people who are in the school systems with your children, who, watches your child, whatever the case is. It's like they clearly showed in the movie how these people are everywhere. Like, there are so many people who have been mind controlled and used as a puppet to kind of keep the ones who have been able to kind of maneuver around and not have to experience certain things. They kind of want to it's almost like they use them to help spot an awoke one, and one that's awoken to the system, that one that has kind of like broke through that seal of fogginess that they try to place over us through the distractions, like they show through entertainment, through television, through the things that you're eating and consuming. They showed you right in your face how they were drugging our food up, and to make us have these unbalanced chemical reactions within our brain, and to also basically like act impulsively, like you don't think that that's going on in today's time. You look back at how the society of our Black men and women are acting within this certain time frame in places like, especially heavy in places like Chicago, places like Detroit, places like I'm hearing Michigan for some reason, places like Memphis, like I know New York in the Bronx area, or it's like in Brooklyn area, is big as well, as far as them experiment I'm hearing for a very long time now on our Black communities. And it's like, it goes to show you how many people within the neighborhoods are being taken and snatched up, and it's not even done by our local people. They try to make it seem like it's done locally to kind of like play the blame game and to point the finger at this person or that person, just to lead to like lost leads or whatever. And come to find out, the government is affiliated with these type of things. They're the ones snatching up our children, experimenting on our children, taking them for sex trafficking, all type of just very like just crazy stuff, And I felt called to pay attention to two different things that I'm going to further dissect and look into. The girl on there, she mentioned, I'm not sure of her name, but she mentioned Kevin Baker and called him the Hollow Man. She referred to Tyrone as the Hollow Man. I think I actually want to code that to see further and deeper what they meant by that. I put how the streetwalkers basically see all. I feel like the streetwalkers, the people who are kind of like on the streets night and day, like without choice, are the ones who see more than what the average person would see, and they kind of like leave those alone, because who's going to believe you? They're going to naturally think that you're crazy. Remember the homeless guy mentioned, and he said, when you're trying to get out of Babylon, where the fuck you going to go? So For me, I have always viewed New York like Babylon, and I don't feel like that's the only place. I feel like there's other places as well, or it's certain tunnels that like lead to New York, I believe. If I'm pretty sure of it, but they have like focal points is what I'm hearing, and it's like these people, of course, are trying to get into hiding underground, have already managed to try to do so. Even though a lot of these tunnels have been blown up, have been discovered, and a lot of these places have been seized already, they are just kind of exposing the truths of what has been going on underneath our noses, Another thing that, is something else I was going to mention or say pertaining towards Babylonian and the underground tunnels and stuff. Oh, okay, so it's like you've seen how they were kind of like stationed in certain areas within our neighborhoods and stuff, and I'm getting chills right now. They were stationed in certain areas within our neighborhoods and making it seem like normal places that you wouldn't even like fathom to like think that this is some exotic crazy shit, and do not think that movie is too far-fetched off as far as like stuff like that can or do not happen, because it does. I wanted to tap into how they basically had the grape juice, like they showed how they was poisoning our foods and putting certain things within our foods and things like that. With the grape juice, I am a firm believer that they put fetal cells, because it was exposed a little while back during COVID that they put actual fetal cells from like abortion clinics and different things like that. That's why they push abortion so heavily within our communities, is because they want our children for like their skin, their cells, their organs, like all of that, you know what I'm saying? And to experiment and different things like that as well, and to like take the DNA of them and then, transfer them depending on who's working for who, because these people be stationed in regular areas that you wouldn't even know, as your doctors, as your pediatricians, teachers, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're placed in certain areas where you are more prone and more likely to trust someone, you know what I'm saying? To trust someone with you, and to trust someone in your care, or to trust that your care would be taken care of, that your care would be taken care of. So yeah, when I seen that, and keep in mind that the church was named Zion House Church. It was called Zion House, I'm going to tap into that a little later too, as far as with the coding and stuff, but it's like, it made me think back on how, in real life, I know for a fact that they're doing this stuff, and it's like, if the fetal cells are within the juice, and then we're consuming the juice, it's like, through church, they have the little crackers, and I'm pretty sure they're putting stuff in that as well, and then they have the juice for you to drink the blood and eat the flesh of Jesus, or whatever the case is. That's a mass ritual being done right there. Every time that it's being done, that's a mass ritual being done, and our people are not knowing what they're engaging into, what they're getting themselves into. They're kind of like very blindsided to their whole agenda that they're playing. Even as a child, I knew that something was a little off about that, even though it quenched my thirst, because I was thirsty as hell in church and hungry. But other than that, it felt very weird for this to be fake blood that we're sitting here drinking, and we're thinking this is okay. But then you turn around and you're quick to judge spiritual people. That's another conversation for here nor there. Like, I also said to her how she was no use for a clone. They called her a whore. And I feel like when it comes to our women, there is no need to, like, I feel like they do clone our women as well, but they don't clone them as much as they clone the men, because the men are of more use to them. I feel that they may like allow the women to kind of, sometimes they clone the men more than they do the women, and they allow the women to be the birth givers, or like child birthers. Basically, they allow them to have as many kids as they please, because they're then going to turn around and take these kids from them anyway, whether it's through the system, or whether it's through them blatantly kidnapping them, or whether it's through them allowing them to live out their life so they can then become a program to the system. So regardless, they're still making use out of them in whatever way that comes, because we aren't necessarily allowing that, within our own way. We are giving that permission and that power away for them to do these things to us, by not seeking that knowledge, by not seeking our history, and not understanding and actually caring enough to know that this shit is real, to know that this is our reality, that this is what we're going through, that this is what we're dealing with, that this is what they're doing to us. And until it becomes a reality for us, and until more people begin to speak out, they're going to continue to do it to us, So it's like, hey, that's on us. Like, that's on us as a whole, how our future tends to turn out for us, you know what I mean? That's just all I can necessarily say about that. I noticed how also, and like the song started playing, I'm drunk as fuck. In the middle of that, this is whenever he went back to kind of like, this is when Tyrone went back to like his old life. You know, he went to pour the old man a cup of liquor, and he kept pouring the old man a cup of liquor through like the days, and he was, you know, losing at the scratch off and stuff like that. I took that as a literal program. Like that was literally programmed for him, for that homeless man, for the people around them, to do everyday lifestyle. Even a person who was working at the job at the convenience store. You know, everyone plays their part in this. You know what I mean? And so yeah. It was a lot that I initially took from that movie. I think that I am going to make a part 2 because I want to dive deeper into like other little things, you know, as far as like I was mentioning with the Kevin Bacon and Hollow Man. And I also noticed they had a Morse code, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like a Morse code on the card. I wanted to kind of like decode that and see what they were talking about, or I kind of got a download about that, so I kind of want to tap into that as well. I hope that the breakdown of this video made sense, and those of you who were able to understand it and take from it, I appreciate you. You know,
in the atmosphere, I can feel the envy. I can't sell my soul now. See, I'd rather let you kill me, but I can never die. No, not really, only physically. I've been through a lot, but I can't let none of that get to me. Because if I do, then I am being my own enemy. I educate the youth, and I am nothing like celebrities. I can't break the law that's breaking me. That's what you tell us for the system. I'ma say that shit 1,000 times. That shit is sickening. They done told us like 10,000 lies. We wanted shit, cause they still sleep, then they act so surprised. When the truth come out before their eyes, I'm still don't recognize. When you speak the truth, you put your life up on the line. And if you don't, cause you say that you living in a lie. I'm speaking fast, this ain't just rap, see I just make it rhyme. Falling off my purpose, it ain't worth it. I did that many times.